That was a good death scene. He was. I don't want to say it was too predictable, but I mean, I'm an anime only watcher, and I did feel she was gonna die last week. In that sense, though, like I felt that she was like alive because of the Ifrit. That was like my take on it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was old, but my take on it already last week was that she was like, okay, she got almost burned alive, right? And he was like, here's Ifrit, right? And after the Ifrit was removed from her, I was like, yeah, she's probably my initial thing was that she's probably gonna de-age or age up or whatever you wanna call it, but she was gonna become this old lady, as we saw in the ending when she was way older, right? So I kind of assumed that would happen, and that probably would kill her by just suddenly becoming, you know, way older, yeah. But it's a good scene, and the whole idea of like consuming her, and yeah, it's like she was supposed to be his destiny, and now he ate her, so he's always carrying her with her, like he must. I mean, yeah, that's very emotional. It's like a good story. Yeah, I love it. It's very unique, at least. It's probably happened somewhere else, but not like in this way. Yeah, so that's very cool. It's a nice touch to it. Kind of like, you know, yeah, bonding them forever. I do have to say though, and I keep thinking that, like, is she really dead? Because I assume that Veldora is alive inside of him in some way. Yeah, it kind of feels like that. He could talk. If it was really cool that week. So I assume that at least Veldora is alive in some way, and he might be able to like recreate him, or like, you know, I don't know. If really he also might lose a lot of power, so we probably won't do that. But one day maybe, right? And in that sense, I wonder if he could, like, you know, actually, you know, recreate her or whatever, like, you know, make her out of his body again eventually. But like if he goes stronger and so on, so he has like the power to heal her and so on inside of him. In that sense, though, that being said, maybe she is, you know, dead regardless, because if he would do that to her, like if he do it to the dragon will come out and be, yes, a dragon. But if you do it to her, she comes out of his body, she's like age 100 again and dies anyway. So yeah, maybe she's dead anyway. Maybe that can't be done, because she's like, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, her lifespan. I feel that too. Yeah, like it's just like no matter what, it feels like even if he would release her, if he can do that, she would probably die anyway, because she's so old, and it's probably the same time frame, like between different worlds. But I keep thinking that because they haven't mentioned it's not like that. That usually, I should say usually, but in a lot of isekais and others, you know, whatever, shonen and so on, right? You have two different worlds, like in Dragon Ball, in the time chamber room. One of the other parallel universe room is gonna be like, man, time here is really, really slow. So if you live in this world and the outside world, it can be different, right? So even if she, how should it be? At least 70, 80, right, in our world, something like that, whatever. She's quite old in our world, right? But that could mean you take that in our world and she lived that many years, like that. That's how I say it. The time that's passed in our world, so let's say it's passed 1 year for us, might have been 10 years for her, right? She might actually be way older. Maybe I'm completely off now. Maybe I'm completely off because I haven't read the material. Maybe she's exactly the same age. But I'm thinking that she also might be even older, right? Because she actually is like super old. To some degree, right? Thinking about how long Veldora was stuck in the place and so on, and the hero, her master, has to be the same person, so on, right? So she might be really old. But yeah, so I think her lifespan was outright, because she got summoned as a human, and then the Ifrit made her made her young, right? Another difference too is that, which I guess at least is that Rimuru, he is actually died. Think about it, he died in our world and got reincarnated, right, as a slime, yeah, title. But she actually didn't die, right? Didn't actually Shizu, she actually got summoned. So she actually died yet. She actually just got to this world and actually didn't have power. She actually got to this world, right? got the Ifrit powers. That gave her powers. Where of course Rimuru died and got like, oh, you wanna have? Oh, I wanna have these powers. I wanna be able to eat stuff and be fire immune and so on. He got that happening to him, right? She actually just got to, she's a human with Ifrit powers, right? With the fire power from the Ifrit, and actually doesn't have any powers, which is not a human, or which is not an Ifrit. That's just a pure human again. So that also makes her be quite vulnerable to everything, right? And think about it. And when I mentioned that now, how about this idea? Completely crazy idea, but maybe she died now, and then she's reincarnated in this world. That would be something. Yeah, because she hasn't actually died yet until this moment. So maybe she's dead now, and then she returns to this world as another person, right? Like, then she gets the whole, what do you want to be this time? She's like, I want to be a slime girl. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying that would be pretty nice. That would be pretty funny if she actually is like, no, she got to do the reincarnated thing. But okay. I guess she's gonna be dead for now. And yeah, it was a good death scene. It took a while. The whole thing is good, and I really like the whole idea that is how he, of course, becomes this human form. Because I felt that, I don't know, I was wondering. I kind of felt he was just gonna become stronger, and then eventually it's like, well, I can be a human now because I'm this strong, so I can make a human shape now. But he actually had to eat a human to become a human, yeah. So I like the whole concept, and they're like, you look like a small, Shizu. Well, yeah, kinda. So yeah, that was good. All of that, I love how it all come back to that, yeah. And he went back to being a slime back and forth. So I wonder if he's gonna stay as a slime, or be human Rimuru for the main part, and then be a slime every now and then. Maybe. And I keep having to say it, but I was wondering, like, he ate a human, so is he like, or a female human? He's a female now. It's kind of like spoilers here. Diablo 3. Oh, spoilers, yeah. Oh, who cares? That game is old by now, right? Where like Diablo consumes a human girl and becomes a female Diablo, right? In that game, yeah. In the end of Diablo 3 is a girl, yeah. Suddenly, he changed again into a woman there. It feels kind of like that. So it's like, wait, is Rimuru a woman? I'm not really mad that much, but you do wonder. And of course, the tree really loves as well. Oh yeah, and that has to be important. She mentioned that because they mentioned it as well, right? So, and the Guildmaster was earlier. So Shizu mentioned it very obviously. Oh, one of us is the Guildmaster now, and obviously they went back to the Guildmaster. So of course has to be her student. Like that would be very otherwise. And wasn't her student all isekai people? Which I found kind of funny. Weren't they all isekais? So her Guildmaster is an isekai also, right? I guess like a human isekai, or a person that died and turned into another human, right? Yeah, that is, or maybe absolutely proper human, and that definitely is also come back right to the storyline that he is an isekai, also maybe from Japan, whatever, right? And so on, and probably gonna work with Rimuru later, right? Because of course Rimuru, ate his master, so that has to be important later for sure, right? But yeah, the whole school thing was funny. So they had a school where they collected people, children that were reincarnated. And that was good though. That's how she knew about the video game joke. Oh, my student taught me this thing. Oh, okay, because you're from... because she's a trainer of isekai people. It was... that was special. That was special. Well, anyway, and then the last thing... how do I feel about that? Well, the orc is obviously, it's called, the orc disaster, and the next episode is called that, so it's gonna be interesting to see. I feel that's gonna be interesting because whatever he is behind the mask, the play doctor, right? That is, I'm gonna keep calling him because he looks exactly like a play doctor to me. Typical, a play doctor, right? Because they had his mask on them during Dark Age in Europe, right? Medieval time, because obviously the mask would like filter the plague. It really didn't work that well in reality, but what happened in those beaks is that they usually have like herbs, stuff like that in the actual beak, right? So they would breathe through that. That was supposed to be kind of like curing them from the poisoned air, right? The pollution and so on from the plague. Of course, it didn't actually work very well, but I actually read that it actually did help them a little bit because it actually kind of filtered it a little bit, so it wasn't like the worst. Also, the plague wasn't really, it was airborne, but not, anyway, don't get me started on history. But anyway, yeah. So what I like with him, generally, not because this character itself, but what I like with him is that it hasn't been like a main antagonist yet, except of course the guy who summoned Shizu, he's the main I guess, antagonist, but it hasn't been like a direct enemy. So even if that guy is the demon lord, clearly like a really bad guy and clearly gonna be a massive bad guy eventually, right, in the storyline, I do feel that there hasn't been a direct threat yet. Like the other ones be kind of like, oh yeah, the dwarfs and the guy that he punched and like whatever. Those are all kind of like nobodies. It was clearly that Rimuru was gonna be like, ah, whatever, I can be friends with them and so on, and so on. The spider enemies, all that was just general, low-level fantasy enemies, right? But now, next episode, I feel that it's gonna be awesome because it actually now starts a real bad guy, like someone else from agenda. He want to conquer the force for some reason. He might see this power, what's it called now again? What's it called? Or whatever, like the power, the power. My God. Whatever. My point is that because, as the mentioned episode, right, that Veldora now is dead. It's been a big lack of control of the whole monster, so on, right? So this guy might see the opportunity. It's like, I'm gonna conquer this place now, right? Might be something. I don't know exactly, but my point generally is that there hasn't been anyone direct attacking, Rimuru yet, right? It is directly like confronting him with his evil agenda, right? So that I like it. And the last party when he buried her and looks out, is like, yeah, this is more likely. I think that to me felt like the last part of the prologue, kind of like now we're actually getting into like the big fantasy, kind of the grand fantasy game, right? And that was like, these are the characters. This is backstory, this is how it turned human again, and now, like, this is where the actual, like, big clash is gonna happen. So, I'm excited about that, it'll be awesome. So anyway, hope you liked this review and earlier called live reaction. Subscribe to like, and go in cameo right away after this, episode 20, I think it is. But anyway, hope you saw this well, because I love Golden Cameo, very good anime. Anyway, hope you liked this, guys, and I'll see you, otherwise Golden Cameo, otherwise tomorrow is Black Clover, what's it more, of course, Confusion, yeah, and so on. Anyway, have a good day, guys.